Welcome back to our English podcast. Today we're going to talk about money, how to talk about it in English, and how to handle it in real life.
Money is a sensitive topic, but it's also very practical. In this episode, you'll hear useful vocabulary and phrases for everyday situations, getting paid, budgeting, saving, and even talking about debt.
Listen carefully, repeat out loud when you can, and try to imagine your own life in these situations.
Let's get started with some key vocabulary.
First, a few important words and phrases about money. I'll say the word, then a short explanation. You can repeat after me. Income. This is the money you earn, for example, from your job or your business.
Expenses. This is the money you spend, for example, on rent, food, bills, and transport.
Budget. A plan for how you will spend your money. You decide how much you can spend on each thing.
Savings. Money that you put aside and don't spend now. Usually, you keep savings in a bank account for the future.
Debt. Money that you owe to a bank, a company, or a person. For example, a credit card debt or a loan.
Interest. Extra money you pay or receive because of a debt or savings. Banks charge interest on loans and pay interest on savings.
And finally, a useful phrase, living paycheck to paycheck. This means you spend almost all your money every month and you have no savings.
Now let's move into a real-life situation, getting paid and paying bills. Imagine it's the end of the month. You get your paycheck or your salary. How can we talk about this?
You can say, I get paid at the end of the month, or my salary goes into my bank account every 2 weeks.
Then, of course, the money starts to disappear. We have to pay our bills, like rent, electricity, gas, phone, and internet.
A very natural phrase is, I need to cover my basic bills first. Cover here means pay for.
Listen to this short dialogue and pay attention to the phrases.
When do you get paid?
I get paid on the 25th. As soon as the money comes in, I set aside money for rent and bills.
That's smart. I usually pay my bills straight away so I don't fall behind.
Same here. After I cover my bills, I try to put something into my savings.
Some useful phrases from that dialogue. As soon as the money comes in, right after you receive your salary. Set aside money. Keep some money for a special purpose. Fall behind on bills. Be late paying your bills.
Now let's talk more about budgeting, planning how to spend your money. Many people feel stressed about money because they don't know where it goes. A simple budget can really help.
Here are some useful verbs with budget. Stick to a budget, follow your plan and not overspend. Go over your budget, spend more than you planned. Cut back on something, spend less on it.
Listen to this example. Every month, I make a budget. I write down my income and my fixed expenses, like rent and insurance. Then I decide how much I can spend on food, transport, and entertainment. I try to stick to my budget, but sometimes I go over, especially when I eat out too much.
Now a little conversation. I really need to get my spending under control.
Why don't you make a simple budget? First, list your income. Then, list your expenses.
Good idea. I think I need to cut back on takeaway coffee and online shopping.
Exactly. Small changes can make a big difference.
You can pause the podcast now and write down 3 things you could cut back on this month. Now let's talk about saving for a goal. Maybe you want to save for a holiday, a new phone, or to pay off debt.
We can use phrases like save up for something. Example, I'm saving up for a trip. Put money aside every month. Example, I put $100 aside every month. Build an emergency fund. Save money for unexpected problems.
Here's another dialogue. Are you saving up for anything at the moment?
Yes, I'm saving up for a new laptop. I put a little money aside every week.
How do you manage to save?
I treat my savings like a bill. I pay myself first. As soon as I get paid, I move money into my savings account.
Pay myself first is a very useful expression. It means that you move money to savings before you spend money on other things.
You can also say, I'm trying to build up my savings, or I have a small emergency fund, but I like to grow it. Now, let's move to a more serious topic,
Debt and credit cards. Many people use credit cards all the time.
Some useful phrases: pay off a debt, finish paying it; pay something back, return money you borrowed; max out a credit card, use all the credit limit; be in the red, have negative money in your bank account.
Listen to this short dialogue. I used my credit card too much last year. Now I'm trying to pay off the balance.
How are you doing that?
I stopped using the card and I pay a fixed amount every month. I don't want to get into more debt.
That's a good plan. High interest rates can be very dangerous.
Another example.
I checked my bank account this morning and I'm in the red.
Oh no, did some bills come out?
Yes, the electricity bill and the phone bill. I really need to keep track of my spending.
Keep track of means follow something carefully and watch the numbers.
If you have debt, some useful sentences are: I'm trying to get out of debt; I'm focusing on paying off my credit card first; I want to be debt-free in 2 years. Sometimes we need to talk about money with friends or family members. For example, when we share a bill in a restaurant or when someone owes us money.
Here are some polite phrases. Shall we split the bill? Share the cost. It's on me this time. I will pay. Can you pay me back next week? When you remind someone about money. I'm a bit short on cash right now. I don't have much money at the moment.
Listen to this situation in a cafe. Do you want to split the bill?
Actually, I'm a bit short on cash today. Can I transfer the money to you later?
Sure, no problem. Just send it to me on the app when you get home.
Thanks. I'll pay you back tonight.
We can also use these expressions. I'm trying to cut down on eating out. I'm saving for a holiday. I'm on a tight budget this month. I don't have much extra money. We've talked about a lot of vocabulary and phrases today: income, expenses, budget, savings, debt, paying off, saving up, cutting back, splitting the bill, being on a tight budget, and many more.
To review, think about your own situation. Ask yourself, when do I get paid? How do I pay my bills? What am I saving up for? Do I have any debt I want to pay off? Try to answer these questions in English using the phrases from this episode.
You can also pause now and write a short paragraph about your money habits, how you budget, save, or spend. That's a great exercise. Now that we've covered the fundamentals of managing the money we have, let's talk about a very exciting topic: making your money grow. I'm talking about investing.
Investing can sound intimidating, but it doesn't have to be. It's essentially using your money to potentially make more money. We're going to introduce some basic concepts and vocabulary to help you understand this world a little better.
Exactly. Let's start with some key terms you might hear. Don't worry about remembering everything at once. The goal is just to become familiar with the language. First up, stocks and shares. These are basically the same thing. When you buy a stock, you're buying a small piece or a share of a company.
Right. And if that company does well, the value of your share can go up, so you could sell it for a profit. Of course, if the company doesn't do well, the value can go down. That's the risk and reward of the stock market.
Exactly. That brings us to another important concept: diversification. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. It means don't put all your eggs in one basket. Instead of buying stock in just one company, you spread your money across many different companies and industries.
That way, if one company performs poorly, you don't lose all your money. Diversification helps to manage risk. Another term you'll hear is mutual fund. This is a popular way to diversify. A mutual fund is a collection of stocks and other investments all bundled together.
That's a great point. So by buying into a mutual fund, you're instantly diversified without having to research and buy hundreds of different stocks yourself. It's managed by a professional, a fund manager, which makes it a very common starting point for new investors.
Okay, that makes sense. Stocks, diversification, mutual funds. What about the long term? I hear people talking about long-term investing. What does that mean in practice?
That's a fantastic question. Long-term investing means you're not trying to make a quick profit. You're not buying a stock today and selling it next week. Instead, you're investing for goals that are years or even decades away, like retirement. The idea is to let your money grow over a long period, riding out the ups and downs of the market.
So it's about patience, and this brings up a magical concept called compound interest. This is when your interest starts earning its own interest. It might sound small at first, but over decades, the effect can be incredibly powerful. It's why financial experts always say it's not about timing the market, but about time in the market.
That's a brilliant analogy. So, for our listeners who are thinking about starting, what's a practical first step? How does someone actually begin to invest? A great first step is often opening a brokerage account. This is an account you use specifically for investing. Many online platforms make this very easy. Once the account is set up, you can transfer money into it, just like a regular bank account, and then start buying investments like stocks or mutual funds. Many platforms have very low minimums, so you can start with a small amount.
That's a very practical way to start. It demystifies the process. So let's talk about a major long-term goal for many of our listeners, retirement. How does investing play a role there? It seems so far away for so many of our younger listeners.
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It feels so distant, but the sooner you start, the more powerful that compounding effect becomes. Many countries have specific retirement savings accounts that offer tax advantages. In the US, for example, you might hear about a 401k or an IRA. These are just special containers for your investments, designed to help you save for the long term.
Right, so the government essentially gives you a little bonus for saving for your future. It's a way to encourage people to be self-sufficient in their later years. The key takeaway here is that it's important to research what options are available in your own country.
That's absolutely key. Financial education is a journey, not a destination, and it's so important to be aware of the psychological side of investing. People often panic when the market goes down and sell at the worst possible time.
That's so true. Emotional investing is a huge pitfall. When you see scary headlines about the market crashing, the natural instinct is to pull your money out. But long-term investors often see those downturns as buying opportunities. It's about having a plan and sticking to it, rather than reacting to fear.
Exactly. Having a plan is everything. This is where setting clear financial goals becomes so important. Investing without a goal is like sailing without a destination. You might be moving, but you don't know where you're going. Your goals will determine your investment strategy.
That makes so much sense. So a short-term goal, like saving for a car in 2 years, would require a much more conservative investment strategy than a long-term goal, like retirement, which is 40 years away. You can afford to take more risks with money you won't need for a long time.
Precisely. And writing down your goals is a powerful step. It makes them real and tangible. Whether it's saving for a down payment on a house, your children's education, or simply financial independence, having that why will keep you motivated during the journey.
That is the perfect note to start wrapping up on. We've covered a huge amount of ground today, from the absolute basics of income and expenses to the exciting world of long-term investing. It might feel like a lot to take in, but remember, every expert was once a beginner.
That's the most important message. The first step is often the hardest, but taking control of your finances is one of the most empowering things you can do. So let's quickly recap the key takeaways for our listeners. First, know where your money is going. Track your income and expenses to understand your financial picture. This is the foundation of everything.
Second, make a plan for your money. A budget isn't about restriction, it's about control. It helps you direct your money towards the things that are most important to you. And remember to pay yourself first by setting aside money for your savings goals as soon as you get paid.
Third, for those ready to take the next step, understand the basics of investing. We talked about stocks, diversification, and the power of long-term thinking. Remember, it's about time in the market, not timing the market. Don't be scared by the terminology. Focus on the simple, powerful concepts.
And finally, our fourth key takeaway, be patient and consistent. Financial success doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of small, consistent actions taken over a long period. Whether it's sticking to your budget or making regular contributions to your investments, consistency is your superpower.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us on this financial journey today. We hope you've learned some useful language and, more importantly, feel a little more confident about managing your own financial future. The language of money is a powerful tool, and we're here to help you master it.
And we really want to continue this conversation with you, our listeners. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite platform so you don't miss our future episodes. We'll be covering more topics to help you master English for every situation.
That's a great point, Ben. And a big part of that conversation is breaking the taboo around talking about money. It's often seen as a private, stressful topic, but the more we share our questions and experiences in a supportive community, the more we all learn.
Exactly. We'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest money questions? What are you saving up for? Share your journey with us on our social media channels. We'll be there to cheer you on.
That sounds fantastic. Hearing from our community is the best part of this. Until then, keep practicing, stay curious, and remember that every small step you take is a step toward mastery. Thanks for listening.